Welcome to 15 Minute Bites, the show where we take a quick bite out of something delicious in 15 minutes or less. I'm your host, Marty, and today's guest is no stranger to Apple and the Mac community. He's the host and executive producer of MacVoices, one of the longest running and most respected podcasts and videocasts about everything Apple. Welcome, please, Chuck Joiner. I am so happy to have you here, and you are sort of the Denzian of Apple Mac podcasts in terms of the sheer amount, the impact, the way in which you help mentor people around it, and you keep coming up with new ideas that we talk about. So give us a little bit on MacVoices, and if you care to tease anything that you're doing.
Marty, first of all, thank you. That's I don't think I have a prayer of living up to that introduction, but I really appreciate it. Mac Voices is an interview show. It's where we originally started talking just one-on-one interviews. Then it's a long story, and I'm not going to do it all, but it's kind of evolved. It's consolidated a couple other shows I was doing so that they're all under the Mac Voices banner now, and it just is a whole lot of fun to sometimes do one-on-one discussions with authors or developers, but then have panel discussions where we all trade ideas. We're all friends, but we're not afraid to agree with each other, and I value that highly because we can take on emotional topics and at the end of the day absolutely disagree and then absolutely laugh about it. So that's kind of the short version.
I worked in radio for a number of years, but what I listen to is how you listen. I think in that sense, you're one of the better best interviewers that I've heard. That, the answers that people are giving you are great. The questions that you come up with, I think really set the tone for the conversation that you're having with folks. And you always come up with the next insightful thing. And it's like, yeah, I want to know about that. So I'm like, oh, I didn't even think of going in that direction. Not that that's bad, but it's good because you are such a good listener to what people are talking and when they're talking. And I see, particularly on the panel discussions, people come from all different directions, and you manage to mix that up pretty good and give multiple voices an opportunity because you listen well.
Well, I appreciate that. I spent the larger part of my career in insurance claims investigation, and too many people don't appreciate, what that means when we're talking about serious
Mm-hmm.
claims. That you're always going and you're asking people to tell you their story, and so if you're trying to tell them your version of their story, it doesn't work. You have to
Yeah.
really just ask the question and then let them. And 99% of the time, if you open that door, they will give you more than you ever anticipated. So I think that's maybe where some of that comes from. Back in the day when I was trained, it was called a curiosity-driven investigation,
Mm-hmm.
and but I think it also bent my approach to things that I am curious about what you think about or a particular topic or what somebody else thinks about. And to your point about kind of taking different perspectives, yeah. The other thing I love to do is argue. I will take Sometimes I will take the point just to see how people will respond to it, even though I might not even disagree. Excuse me, I might even not even agree with the point that I'm arguing.
Yeah.
The idea is to get people to think, and that's one of the goals. And I'm happy to hear you think that we achieve it at least part of the time.
Yeah. So I've got to ask you. Let's move to the recipe. The recipe is Catalina chicken, and so I want to ask you, where did the recipe come from, Chuck? Is it a family tradition, or do you remember where it came from?
Yeah. Long story short, I now, as we record this, and for quite some time now, all the senior members of my family are gone. But we had a Saturday night tradition of getting everyone together, and I would do the cooking because my mom had passed quite a bit of time before that. And so, obviously the thing you're going to do is grill whenever possible. And so I started experimenting with different marinades and, reading a little bit about things because as much as I enjoy the process, it also can be very time consuming. And one of the things I started trying was salad dressing marinades that just take salad dressing off the shelf, throw some meat in, and let it marinate, and then grill it and see what happened. That's how the Catalina chicken kind of came to be.
And it's interesting because one of the things that for me with barbecue, it's like, okay, barbecue sauce, barbecue sauce, barbecue sauce. And experimenting with salad dressings gives you a wide variety of different tastes or flavors that you can try. And with barbecue, you have to be careful about the sugar in whatever you're putting on it because that will burn really quickly. And so you've picked this tradition or this barbecue marinade, I should say. That is a real interesting one. I tried to figure out to me, you think of dressings, it's like French dressing. Catalina is like French dressing with a little bit of fruity flavor to it, maybe.
Yeah,
I wouldn't know how to describe it.
I wouldn't have thought of describing it that way, but you're not wrong. It's a little tart, maybe is a better way to
Yeah,
say it.
yeah.
So,
When I saw Catalina, sort of the not French dressing that we used in my family was Western. Have you ever heard of Western dressing?
no,
It's
that's
like a,
is
it's
is
like
that a
a,
brand?
yeah. Well, yeah. That's all I know it by. And you can find it. It was popular in the stores, and I know it still exists. It sort of tastes like a Russian dressing more than a French dressing, but a little bit sweeter than what you would expect Russian to be. So you've given me all sorts of inspiration with this marinade and salad dressings. A lot of folks will throw, Italian on it, and then that often gets a little too charred for flavor with it because of the oil in it. You have an interesting combination here. And there's a little thing that you do with it that I don't know if you realize what you're doing. Let's take a look at the recipe. Let's go to the recipe.
Okay.
Chicken breasts, as many as needed. Pre-split or split it yourself. Kraft Catalina Classic salad dressing, and you get enough to cover the chicken that you're doing. And then the 1 teaspoon of lemon or lime juice. For me, that was, where did that come from? Where did you think about that? Do you know?
Yeah, this came about the time that I was playing with a lot of this stuff was about the time that the Food Network became really popular, and they were
Mm-hmm.
doing a lot. They were not doing the contest shows. They were doing the "How do you do it?" or "Here's a recipe to try," and I got hooked on that for a long time, and just started learning. Alton Brown with his
Mm-hmm.
Good Eats series was like magic because he let you dig into the science of it, and I learned just a little bit from that about why you would want to add a little acid to it and maybe break down the chicken a little bit
Yeah.
and just create that extra dimension to it. And so that's where that came from. Is just experimenting and saying, well, let's see what like the mad scientist. Let's see what this does.
Yeah, I think most cooks are frustrated chemists in my life because I like the science of cooking, as you mentioned. Alton Brown did that, and I think there's also a couple of other authors that do that. I forget what the book is. That is all about this is why you do this with cooking. But when I saw that, I thought you're adding an acid. And the reason you're adding a slight acid is to break down the protein and help break down the protein and let the marinade kind of work its way into that. So once you get the this all mixed together, you do the marinade, place it in a container or a Ziploc bag, pour enough Catalina Classic dressing over the chicken to fully cover it, And refrigerate for a minimum of 30 minutes to 1 hour or more is preferred for a deeper flavor. Then you put it on the grill. You preheat the grill for 10 minutes. Place your chicken on the grill, being mindful of grill mark orientation. That's interesting. Mine is find the part of the grill that I can fit it on, not necessarily orientation. But you have it because presentation matters.
Yeah, again, this is all Food Network, Alton Brown, and all the other chefs that were on there. You just absorb things. It's like, okay, this I wouldn't have thought about it, but it makes perfect sense. That you would start paying attention to some of these things. So
Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
You baste the chicken with any remaining marinade, adding more dressing if necessary. You flip the chicken at least once after the final baste. Important for food safety. And that was one thing I was curious about in terms of checking the temperature. For folks who grill and can't kind of see, having a thermometer to be able to check internal temperatures, I think, is really important. But you want to make sure that at least the flip is at least once. The chicken's done when it reaches an internal temperature of 165 degrees Fahrenheit. And you grill the edges until there's sort of a burnt edge color to them.
yeah. And so. Let me do a couple caveats here to catch us up.
Yeah.
The first one is the Catalina dressing versus quote unquote French dressing, because there are, and I think Kraft also does like a creamy French, which is great for salad, but it's terrible for marinade. So that's the first thing. That's why I specifically say Catalina. The second thing is that you talk about the sugars burning, and to my taste and to the taste of the family, that was actually kind of desirable. That some people might say this gets a little overcooked, but I'm not happy with it until I really start to see that black char. And now you go too far with that.
Yeah.
But you just play with it a little bit. But your point about the internal temperature is a great one. And it's something that I never, at that point, I really never paid that much attention to, because I knew I was always going to be, if anything, I was going to be erring on the side of too much and not too little. But and the food safety thing, yeah, that's I really need to call that out, because you're marinating raw chicken, and then you're going to use that marinade. So
Yeah.
use it so it's not wasted. But by all means, make sure that you do flip it at least at one other time, so that any problem bacteria burn off and are done for.
Yeah, and be careful about whatever you're using to coat it with, that it's clean and bacteria free as you do it.
Yeah, absolutely.
You have some comments and pro tips that will be in the recipe, that almost burnt edges are the secret. Don't pull it too soon. It might be cooked, but if it doesn't have the burnt edges, it's not the fun part of doing this. And then makes fantastic cold leftovers, but the skin may toughen up. A quick microwave pass brings it back. So these are not skinless breasts.
No, not.
Okay.
I mean, they can, but not necessarily.
Yeah, yeah. And of course, once you get everything off the grill, leave it on for a while to burn off all of the residue, because this can be messy, as when you're doing with barbecue sauce or anything else. You really want to burn it off, and then wire brush it to get it off the grill while it's still warm.
Yeah. Pay attention to that one, folks, because if you don't, you will be cursing me because I've messed up your grill. So.
Well, this is good. This is good that you're able to do this in terms of a personal memory connection, and then the family, and being able to do that for friends, and you still have that personal connection with this particular grilling technique, and also with the marinade and the choices you're making around that. You're also, I think, encouraging people to experiment, which is half the fun of cooking. If you have folks who will tolerate your attempts at experiments, then you've got the best friends in the world.
Agreed, agreed. And the experimentation part, I mean, that was part of the fun of it. There were plenty of experiments that didn't turn out so well, or that really I thought were a great idea, and then at the end of the execution, just they really didn't add anything. So, but this one just sort of rose to the top and became a pretty regular favorite.
Yeah, but even with mistakes, you learn more about cooking. That's what I like about it. Because when things go wrong, it's like, well, maybe next time I'll do it this way. Or I should have thought about, pre-cooking portions of this in order to make it to balance all. It's all the fun with the experiment. I want to give you a chance to say anything that's coming up with MacVoices or things that people should look out for or projects that are happening with that, and then we'll close the show.
No, I appreciate it, Marty. Right now, coming up, we are doing the Road to MacStock, MacStockConference.com in Woodstock, Illinois. Marty will be there. I will be there. Excuse me, Crystal Lake, Illinois. Marty will be there. I'll be there. We're both speaking along with a lot of our other friends. We'd love to have you join us. In a couple weeks, I'll be heading to the National Association of Broadcasters, or NAB show in Vegas, and doing some interviews on the show floor there. So that's coming up. Couple other things in the works that, you just try to keep edging them forward, and then when they see the light of day, they see the light of day. But there's so many things out there, so much fun to have, so much knowledge to have, and I would encourage everybody to approach all the things that Marty does. Oh my God, he is super prolific across a wide range of subjects, and approach my show that way as well. Recognizing that I want to make you think. I don't want you to just sit there and say, yeah, he's right. No. I would love to have you argue with me.
Great. Well, thanks for this recipe, and thanks for being part of 15-Minute Bites. If you've enjoyed the show, share it with a friend, leave us a review, come find us at thepodtalk.net. That's the website for all quick bite accesses across all of our shows. And until next time, thanks, Chuck, for doing this. Grateful for you to be one of our early guests on this show. Until next time, keep cooking, keep exploring, and we'll see you in the next episode.